Hi everybody, I'm Cindy.
And I'm Gary.
We are Pathways Homestead. So I got a call Friday morning from somebody that is a very good friend of ours, and they have COVID-19. And so that led to conversations with the health department and all that. So lo and behold, I am in quarantine, and my loving husband decided that he would rather be in quarantine with me than me be all by myself, or him be all by himself.
And it didn't make sense to me that I was around this person a little bit too, and it didn't make sense to me that somehow should quarantine, but I shouldn't. That just didn't make sense to me.
Well, I'd given them a ride, so we were in a quote confined space of less than 6 feet for over their little recommended amount of time. So, no big deal. I'm not concerned about it. I trust God. I mean, my faith is in Him. And this person really wasn't showing any symptoms, and so there wasn't like sneezing and coughing and things like that. And so I'm not that concerned about it. I am going to take precautions. To whereas, I'm going to honor the recommended procedures because I want to be responsible, and my biggest concern is for this person that they're heartbroken.
This is a person that's very dear to us.
And they're very sweet, and they love others more than themselves, and their biggest fear is the contamination of others. So that is where we're at. We still have things we have to do. I mean, we have to haul water, so we're taking precautions there. The way we haul water, we're not in contact with anybody or anything like that. If we have to get gas, we'll put on masks and gloves, and we'll use our debit card and all of that, and not go into the store. But and we have a great little grocery store. If I need something, I can call her and charge it, and she can leave it on a bench outside, and I can pick it up. So there's nothing like that, in which we don't really need a whole lot except for like dairy. So yeah, because I don't have a dairy goat right now, but that's okay. And even when I had a dairy goat, we didn't have things like cheese and stuff, which we eat a lot of cheese. But maybe over the next 10 days, we've got 10 days left, then, because we're 4 days from our last contact with that person. So we've only got 10 days left, so it's not going to be that big of a deal. We ate breakfast this morning. Gary went out and doing chores. He went by the garden. He always goes by the garden and snacks, and he picked he robbed some potatoes underneath the potato bushes and potato plants, and got some onions and
carrots and turnips and beets.
And it was good breakfast. And he threw in a can of mushrooms we had, and
some asparagus.
And asparagus we picked here. So basically the only thing that wasn't from the homestead was the mushrooms and the butter. So that was, and it was really good. So it's going to be interesting. I've not been doing really good with my pop and candy addiction. That's the best way to put that. So I guess for the next, my last pop and candy was that Friday before I knew I had been exposed. So here we go, and maybe it'll be good in the next 10 days. If I can go 10 days without it, I can go. But we may have to make some sweets. I may have to make a blackberry pie or something. I still got some blackberries in the freezer from last year. They need to be used up, right? And that's the good excuse, right? But the good thing about making the pie is I can reduce the sugar. I don't have to put in a bunch of sugar. I can reduce it and maybe substitute a little bit of honey in there to help make up for that. We'll see. Got to be careful with the honey. Gary uses a lot of honey, so which is good. It's good for his arthritis and such.
The biggest thing we want you all to know is that we're going to be quarantined here, and if you're believers, be praying for our friend that has been tested positive with this. Be praying for them, and you know, we are going to try to, during this, put up more videos, because we know some of you guys have been missing. We just live a busy life. You know, we don't get to homestead full time. I take that back. We homestead full time, and we pastor at church full time, and I work part-time construction, and
Yeah.
and so the videos have been a little slow, and so maybe this will give us time to do more of those. Hopefully you guys get to enjoy it, seeing us around here. I don't know if we'll do any wild toilet paper hunting or anything like that,
Probably
but you'll get to see some of our gardening and our farming stuff and our working around the place that we've been building, and you know, maybe a good time to finish some things up. So like I said, if you're believers, please be praying for us and mostly for our friend. This is a scary thing. So, yeah, that's the main thing I think we want to say. It'll be interesting.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting. We've been talking about doing some challenges about how to, you know, maybe even some collaborations about growing your own food and actual meals that you have grown almost everything from. That's a pretty norm around here, but we would like to maybe get more of that out there to you all, and maybe see what some other people are doing that way too. I know that there's many people in this homesteading community that, especially this time of year, are eating almost just exclusively from their own places, and so we would like to see some of that, I think, and maybe put some of that we do out there. And this is a dry time right now in the Flint Hills, and it's hay season, and they're starting to cut a lot of brome and hay, and alfalfa's been cut, and we're a little ways from wheat harvest, and we don't harvest any wheat, but it's around, and there's lots of calves right now. As I'm talking to y'all, I'm looking off on the hill and seeing some of the neighbors' cow calves walking across the ridge, and just a beautiful time, but it is a little dry, so we will be hauling water because our water system doesn't quite keep up, especially when we're trying to water gardens.
Yep.
So.
We're going to try some things and see how much water we can get out of our little well. We haven't even looked in it yet. We know it has water in it some times of the year. It's very shallow. It definitely, if it produces, it doesn't produce enough to run our homestead at all. And then there is a cistern that holds water, and that's basically, it's just groundwater that runs into it. And so we may check it out. We'll see. It's kind of scary. But anyway, we're just going to do some things, and there's always work here. I just get so caught up in the work, and the garden has exploded, the weeds have exploded, and I can't keep up, so I just don't take the time to film a whole lot right now. And so maybe that'll change with having him home with me full time, and having the extra help, and maybe this will be a restful time with 3 of us in the garden working, with Hannah with helping us. Then you know, that will be easier too. And please be praying for her. We're keeping her in quarantine as well, and she just put in a bunch of job applications trying to get a summer job. So, and here she's gonna have to tell them, well, I can interview, but not until after this date. And so that's gonna be fun, and that just takes that much more time off of her, but being able to work and try to go to college in the fall. And yeah.
And we do have a new addition to the homestead.
Oh, we
that
do.
We're gonna
Yep.
do a video on.
We'll do a
I
video
hope.
on that. Yep.
Yep. A new.
Couple new ones.
Yeah.
One has been ours for quite some time, but we just brought it home, and some circumstances changed, and we'll talk about that. And then another one is something we've been saving for a long time.
Yeah.
So, and we try to be as debt free as possible. We lease to own this property, and we have 4 payments left on our lease to own agreement. So we try to be as debt free as possible, and so we'll see what we come up with in the next week and a half on for the homestead.
We've lived pretty low debt a lot, but we haven't lived a lot completely debt free. We've been several years before we bought this place that we didn't owe any money, but we were still paying rent on where we were living. And we're just about debt free. And so we may be talking about that some too. And that's something I'm really looking forward to. And we live low enough debt that it's not going to make a huge difference. It's not like I've got a $900 mortgage that I'm not going to be paying anymore. But it's a small payment on this place that we won't be paying anymore. And we'll just, all we'll owe is our utilities every month and our insurance and stuff like that.
Insurance is our kicker.
Yeah.
That's our biggest expense. And we don't have health insurance. That's only like vehicle insurance and insurance on our house.
Yep.
But we do have a fleet.
When you drive old junkers, it helps to have another one to go get in when one won't start.
And when you have 4 drivers.
Yeah.
So, we will, yeah, anyway. So you have 4 drivers and then the spare vehicle. So there is 5. And, yeah. But yeah, it's interesting. Well, guys, I guess that'll wrap up this video.
Yeah. And so there's a lot to come, so hide and watch.
Thanks for watching, y'all. I'm praying you have a blessed day.